On behalf of your host, Steve D, this is Bruce Buffer saying thank you for tuning in to Xtreme Lyfe. And now, this is the moment Xtreme Lyfe fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Xtreme Lyfe podcast. This is Steve D. I am here today with Eva Shultz. She is a Muay Thai pro kickboxer. Lives in, you split your time between both Denmark and Holland and Thailand. What an amazing life you have and just an amazing career. And just, like I said, you've been on the show before. It's always fun having you on. I'm excited. I think you were on like a year ago. I'm not even sure how long ago. Maybe it was 8 months. I don't know. It was a while back, but
I think, approximately a year, I think was the last time was. Yeah, and I'm very thrilled to be part of the show again. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm so grateful and so happy to have you on. You're such a cool person. You're so humble, but yet so dangerous.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so sweet. I'm so nice. I can be so girly, but I can also be the opposite.
Yeah.
The right time and right place,
Well, I think you have to be, right? You have to have that balance, right? Because in the cage or in the ring or whatever your sport is, whether it's MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai boxing, there's this new thing out I'm still trying to understand called freestyle fighting. I don't know what that is. I'm about to go see that. Yes. So we'll see what that is.
Enlighten me, please, with this. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of where I'm at. I know a lot about fighting, but the freestyle, I'm guessing they're making you kind of stick to 3 different styles and nothing else. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to see when I get there. It's happening actually right around the corner from me at Coney Island on October 16th. But it's actually cool. Yeah, it's a cool event. You'd actually probably like it. I don't know if you could see it anywhere. I don't know if it's just a local thing. But the New York State kickboxing female champion is fighting, Jenny Nadell. She's phenomenal. She's a friend of mine. Actually, I'm going down to see her this Saturday. I'm going to go train with her a little bit. Because when it comes to hey, when you got the champ there, you might as well learn what you can, right, from the champ.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's going to be amazing for you to see that, and also to join for training and stuff.
Oh yeah. I've trained with her before. She did some of my a couple of years ago. We were doing a lot of little trainings here and there when I could get up there. It's about an hour and a half for me, so it's a little bit of a ride. So I can't get up there very often. But amazing people. I know like 4 fighters that are fighting that night. But it's kind of cool how they have it going on. They have what is it? It's at Coney Island, October 16th. They have basically MMA fighting. Mixed martial arts, then they're going to have just straight up kickboxing. And then they have this, 3-style fighting, which I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure. I haven't really had a chance to look it up. Not really sure what that is, but it'll be fun to watch. And there's like 20 fights. I'm like, this is going to be a whole day. It's going to be awesome.
That's a lot of fights for one night.
Oh, yeah. A lot of fights per night.
Very fiercey and very amazing to look at, and a lot of entertainment. I think it's going to be a spectacular show for you.
Oh, it will. If not, hey, I have fun anywhere I go. It's all right. even if it's not so much fun.
I think you do. Absolutely.
So tell me, let's catch up. Since the last time you were on the show, we're going to say probably roughly about I could look up exactly, but roughly about a year ago. What's been going on? What have you, been doing?
Yeah. Like you can say what's been going on and what's not been going on. Because the corona started to make everything very difficult for everyone. And I think you know that also when you have been speaking with different fighters. It has been a tough year by, not being able to do training the way you used to do it, and to train, have the best options for training. So I had to, build the gym in my home and make everything work at home. And yes, and I was not able to go to Thailand for fighting or for training or anything. And now the situation in Thailand is very, very crazy. So it's not going to be a possibility to go down there. So I do my training here at home, and now I have a great gym, Chiang Noi Muay Thai gym in Copenhagen, which I'm running together with my head coach Peter, and we are doing pretty great now. And things start to rolling, people start to come, and we start to get a good flow in the training as a team. And then I was matched for fighting the Yokao fight 8th of August in Manchester or in Birmingham. But unfortunately, my last PCR test was positive, so the fight was cancelled. And I tell you, I was crying for 2 days. I cried like a baby for 2 days.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing.
I was devastated.
I can imagine. I can imagine, because you work all that time to get up to that point. You spend a couple of months training for that fight, specifically learning your opponent, learning, getting yourself sharp. And then, and that's kind of, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I'm horrified that happened to you, but also it gives us another flavor, right? It gives us the flavor of, what does that look like for a fighter who gets all to that point, makes weight, does everything you need to do, and then does the PCR test, and then boom, you're out of the fight? What is that? I mean, it's devastating, right?
It is absolutely devastating, and also because you've been waiting for a long time during the COVID period where everything has been locked down. You've been waiting, you've been training, you have been getting up every morning, doing your morning training, doing your afternoon training, and everything every single day for over 1.5 years. Then you finally get the fight, you go to the ring, you're going to meet a great opponent, and you're going to make one hell of a good and beautiful Muay Thai fight. And then boom, it was like the carpet was just like thrown away under my feet. And I can't even tell you with words how I was feeling. And I called my mom, I cried on the phone. The day before, I was skipping 40 minutes in sweatsuit, and everything was just perfect for me to go. And then it was a positive test. It was like being punched in the stomach and not being able to breathe like for 2 days. And I watched the fights on the show. I watched it it was live streamed, so I watched it and I was like, wow, that was supposed to be me.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. Like I said, that's so devastating. I mean, I've heard of fighters getting to the point where they don't make weight, and things like that, and the fight getting called for that. And that's kind of like, I get to with that, I go, okay, that's your fault. you screwed up somewhere along the line, or your team somehow didn't advise you correctly. And then you get to, and then and I've seen people massively blow weight, and I'm like, how did you even show up? And then you get upset that you're not fighting. Well, no, you kind of knew before you walked on the scale that you weren't going to be fighting that day. But when you get to that point where it's like, okay, you got everything's in order, everything's ready to go, and then you get something that's not even your fault. It just kind of pops that way. I mean, number one, thank God you're okay. Did you get sick at all, or no? You just popped positive?
I got sick. I was actually struggling a little bit with a little bit of coughing and, not feeling 100% okay, but I was still determined. I was just going to go and have the fight. I was ready for it. And afterwards, it was like I was affected a little bit on my breathing, and then I was very tired, and then I had 24 hours with fever, and it took about 1 week, then everything was okay again. So it was I didn't feel it was for real, because it was just like having a flu, and I could go, but of course I could not go, but it was like, oh, I could go, and no, you cannot go.
You're ready.
Mentally it was very hard, because I really put my mind into the fight, and I've been wanting to fight for so long, and I was missing it for so long. It was like missing a great part of my life, that I could not go to the ring fighting. I really, really missed that. So it affected me mentally a lot. It was like I was just falling down on the floor and had to pull myself up again. I didn't speak with a lot of people for 1 week, and I was just don't ask me. Don't remind me why I don't go fighting. You know, I was really, really sad. So, but I came over the hurdle and get up and go on the horse again. And now I'm going to fight. I have 2 fights coming up now, and I'm so thrilled about it.
Well, you know, we're going to talk about that because you are getting back in order here. I mean, I don't think, you know, I think your last fight was in 18, right? 2018, or am I incorrect?
No, it was 19. I was fighting in 19. I think it was 27th of January.
Okay.
It was just before I left Thailand, before the lockdown.
Before everything kind of started off. Yeah.
So you can understand when you do training and you really put your soul into training every single day, where everybody else just go and sit down in the couch and like, oh, I cannot do my training because I cannot go to the gym. I still kept on doing my training, and I kept my motivation going because I knew that one day I'm going to go back to the ring, and I'm just going to use this time to get even better at everything, you know. So I was kind of like going into every detail every day, trying to get better in small things, making my game go better for me. So so I have used the time okay, but still when I was not going to fight at Yokao, it was really tough on me.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I can't even imagine what that is like when you get to that point where, you know, and then something like this happens, right? And you don't even really get, I mean, there's a lot of people, I mean, I'm not going to go into all the conspiracy theories that are out there right now. There's a lot of people that think, you know, it's just, mostly it's just, I think a lot of people think at this point the PCR test is hitting positive on anything that has to do with a cold or a fever or anything like that. And that might be the case. I don't know. I'm not somebody who's qualified to say. But, you know, it's just, there's a ton of stuff going on right now. But the great thing is that you're getting back in the cage. You're getting back in the ring.
I am. I actually I got written from Brian Carlton the other day, and he asked me, are you still up for a fight with Neam Keenan? And I said, oh, hell yes, I'm really up for the fight, because I missed the fight at the Yokao show. So now I got the match with her for the Sandy Super Showdown coming up on 24th of October in Manchester. And I'm so thrilled about getting this second chance for having the fight with her, because she's a very, very, very good and strong fighter, and she has very beautiful Muay Thai style. And I think we fight the same style. I think we're going to make a very, very good fight and beautiful show. So I was sad that I missed the fight with her, and I saw her fight, and I was even more sad. So now Brian Carlton, he wrote to me, you still want to do a match with her? And I was just like, wow, yes.
Let's do it, right? You know, no hesitation whatsoever. That's great. Yeah, I mean, let's get that fight going. Now, if I wanted to watch that fight, you know, where's it going to be airing? Is it going to be?
I actually don't know yet, but I will definitely share the link for you to watch the fight, because they're going to do the live. They make the live stream on the show, on the whole show. So you will have the possibility to watch it live.
See, that's the one cool thing about today's age, right? You know, despite all the crap that's going on, and I think hopefully we're on our way out of it. You know, I hope. I hope, because it seems like people are starting to do more and more things, and I'm seeing, you know, at least in the United States, I'm seeing less and less masks and stuff like that. I'm seeing people actually just starting to live life again, which I think we need to do at some point, because you can't, you know, walk around in fear forever. But the one thing you're going to see, and I think is really cool, is I'm able to see a lot more fights. Looks like going forward than I was able to see even before, because of the way the internet and streaming has kind of taken off. You know, everybody's live streaming fights now, even like events that used to be local events, like little New York underground fights, right? You're finding their streams, like, you know, I mean, some of them aren't so good. Not all streams are created equal, obviously, but you're able to see a whole lot more. And then there's a lot of promotions out there that are just like, you know, it used to be so easy to keep track of fighters. It used to be so easy to say, okay, there were a couple promotions and that was it. That's all you kind of paid attention to. Now there's hundreds of promotions worldwide, maybe thousands. I don't know.
it's really popping up with all kind of promotions. And I think it's good and it's bad. I think it can go, both ways, because it's not all promotions, I think, that would be able to do the real deal. Some will take advantage of it also. But hopefully we're going to see very good fighters going to develop and get good contracts on promotions around the world. I really hope that. But sometimes it's not always good that we have so many small promotions coming up of the earth, because I think this business, like I've been speaking with people, this business is very shady. Mm-hmm. So shady people will also try to make promotions, Yep. And as a fighter, you really, really, really have to be good at seeing through all the bullshit, because people, they can promise to take you to the moon. No problem.
Oh, yeah.
I take you to the moon if you want to go to the moon, So you have to use common sense, and you have to make sure you get to a very, very good promotion that really takes care of your interest. And I'm so happy to be part of the Iron Chin in Las Vegas, Jason Castell. Yep. And I'm very happy for being in his management, because he takes very good care of my interest. And I also used to have counseling with Gary Brown, who is the one running the Combat News. And I'm very happy to have these people around me, and also have my coach, Peter, who is very loyal, very stable, and he's very dedicated to his work with me. And it's been very difficult for me to find so good people to have around me that I feel safe and secure in my work. So I can just focus on my work, not on trying to figuring out if people are manipulating me, if they are shady people, if they promise me everything. And now I feel safe, and I can just focus on. I want to focus on training and fighting. That's what I want to focus on, And now I can do this, and we're going to go all in for the show, and also for the show coming up in November, where I actually fight in Denmark, my own country, for the first time. I think I only have 3 fights in my own country. Okay. 3 of them amateur fights when I was starting. So now I have to fight in Denmark again, and I'm pretty excited about it, because I've never done that, and people don't really know me that much, because I've been out in the world fighting, and in Europe and Thailand. So it's going to be really nice to get here on my home base having a fight.
Oh yeah. No, I think definitely. I think it's not only something you have the opportunity to do. It's something you need to do, right? I think you need to get to your home base, your home country, and kind of show where you're. You went all over the world fighting. I mean, you trained and studied, and did work in Thailand. I mean, when you talk Muay Thai boxing, right? The gold standard, is to train in Thailand, right? With the people in Thailand, and train out there, and because that's where it all started. I mean, that's where Muay Thai boxing comes from. That's where they've originated it. And, you hear all these, and I've known a lot of MMA fighters that have gone out to Thailand to train Muay Thai boxing, for a year. They'll go out for a year or 2 and train and come back completely different fighters,
Yes, they of course, because they are going back to the roots, and they're going to, they're going to dedicate themselves to learning the standing game. And of course, it's going to give them some advantages when they're going to fight in the MMA game, that they not only are good on the floor, but they also are very good in the standing. So I think it's really good when you do this, when you really take out 1 year, or maybe more, or maybe less, but you take out a period of time, and then you dedicate yourself to learning to master Muay Thai or whatever standing you want to use. But it's a very good thing to do. I think so.
Oh yeah, because I mean, even in when you're looking at at MMA, right? So if we go into MMA for a second. You used to be able to be a one-dimensional fighter and do well in MMA. You used to be able to say, okay, like you go back to the days of Ken Shamrock and Hoist Gracie, and I could go on and on and on. I mean, tons of fighters. You used to be able to come in and say, okay, this is where I'm good. This is what I do, and this is what my fight. I'm going to take it to the ground, and I'm going to just ground and pound. I'm going to maul somebody. you know, because that was Ken's style. Ken's was just like, I'm going to get in there, I'm going to dirty box you, and then I'm going to drop you to the ground. We're going to get even Randy Couture, same thing, you know, get in there, dirty box, and basically not known for striking as much, but that groundwork and that smothering the opponent was the way they kind of did what they did. But you can't be that one-dimensional fighter anymore. I think, you know, and nothing to take away from those guys, because, you know, I've spoken with Ken. I've spoken with, you know, a lot of some of the older fighters, and you know what? They were great, but the time is different. The time is different. Fighters are different. They're trained different. They've learned, you know, it's like anything, you know, as a sport progresses, people just get better. That's just how it is.
Yes.
You know, because they learn more about how they need to train to do what they're doing. Right now, it's really mixed martial arts. Now you could go in there. You can't just have a great stand-up game without having no ground game. You can't.
No, you need to be all around. You need to be all around. And I think also a lot of the training today are getting more science-based to see how can you push it even further? How can you get even better? How can you develop more and more and more, because you need to do all around game. So I agree with you. You cannot just only take it, say, I take him to the ground and then I do my game, because if the other one is very good in the standing game, you have a problem getting him down. So, you know, you have to think smart, and you have to make sure that you get all around and dedicate yourself to learning all the different disciplines that you put into one beautiful MMA fight in the cage.
Yep. And that's exactly what, you know, and it kind of goes to your point, right? So you got yourself set up at this point. And I just want to say congratulations on Iron Shin and signing with them. I think you just recently happened, right? Recently signed with Iron Shin.
It's about 6 months ago. You know, I've just been waiting for getting out fighting, and also I got signed with being sponsored from the DICE team. So I'm very, very happy and very grateful for the connections and for the agreements that I got with people around. So it's amazing for me.
Yeah. So just speaking to your point, you know, going into fighters having to concentrate on fighting, not all this other stuff, right? Because I call, you know, when you're an artist, and that's what I consider fighting. Fighting is an art, and it's you know, no matter what style you do. I mean, you're a specialist in Muay Thai, and that's what you do, right? That's your art. With an art, and any art, it could be music, it could be anything. With any art you do, there's the other stuff that's not the art, right? That gets in the way and becomes what I call the background noise. Right? Yes. And if you have a lot of background noise,
it's like all the time, and you're like, turn it down, stop, all the time, you know, like, get off. My God. It takes the burden off your shoulders, you know, that you can really now put your focus only on the one thing that you want to do. And it gives you a lot of energy to put the right focus in what you want to work with and what you need to work with.
Mm-hmm. Because you need to spend that time, you know, the time you would have been dealing with all these other things. Now you have people doing that. So you don't have to. Now, what you do is you concentrate on what you're really supposed to be doing, which is the fight, right? Get in there, you know, and train what you're, you know, supposed to be doing in the first place, instead of dealing with all the stuff a manager is supposed to be dealing with, stuff your dietitian should be dealing with, stuff your promoter should be dealing with, stuff you're not doing any of that other stuff. You're working on the actual art itself. And that's what you need. And that's what you need to do today, because people have gotten that good. You can't be, I mean, there are some rare exceptions of people who are just very, very good at managing and balancing that. But I still think, you know, how much better would you be if you didn't have to balance all that?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And as anybody who do art, you have to go deep into what you're doing. So when you can do that, you can only do that if you don't have to take care of all the other things. So you can really, really go into depth, and you could go, you know, find the peace doing what you do and do the right reflections and everything you need to do for just upping your game. But it's been a difficult road also, because here in Denmark we don't really have like pro, like the high level pro, like you see in the United States. We don't have it home in Denmark. So it's kind of a new world opening here in our country. And I look really forward to this whole journey with my management and my sponsors and my gym, because when I'm done fighting, I say when I'm done fighting, then of course I'm going to create good professional fighters, and I want to take care of everything for people from the start, so they don't have to waste their time on doing all the failures that I've been doing, trusting all the wrong people. So I want to, all the experience I gain here, I'm going to bring it to fighters coming up, and take them further and make them have a good career in an amount of years that they don't have to spend like double up years because they had to learn all the things from the start. So I want to pass that on when I'm done fighting. And I think it's, I feel very lucky, and I feel blessed that I got this opportunity to do all this. So it makes me really happy, and I'm very grateful for this.
Well, it's a gift. It's a gift. I mean, and it's not just a gift as far as, and please hear me the right way. I'm not saying you were given this. I'm saying you earned it, but then it became a gift, right? To have this in your life, right? And that's, I think everybody who gets to the level you're at and the level that, a lot of fighters I talk to are at, it wasn't just something that just came to you. You had to work hard for it. There's no shortcuts in this game at all. And like you with the COVID test, and that positive test, you had to overcome obstacles, right? You have to overcome adversity. You have to work through it. It's not, I think it was a Rocky movie said, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. That's pretty much what it comes down to. When you see the movie and you don't have the experience, way back when I saw the movie, I didn't have this experience. And I was like, whoa, yeah, that's a cool view. But when now I have this experience that I have now, I'm like, wow, this is really wise words, because fight sport is not only about being strong physically, it's not only about fighting, it's about developing yourself also. And mentally you grow a lot. If you have the skills for growing yourself mentally, then you grow a lot. So it was wise words that he said there. I think it was really nice. And I think it's absolutely true. And I think it's absolutely true in just about life, itself, not even just fighting. It's just life. It's not about, you're going to get the crap knocked out of you at times, and you got to just keep figuring out new ways to be innovative and work your way through it, whatever you got to do. And it sounds like you got a lot of really cool stuff going on. You got 2 fights coming up, right? You said October, what?
Yeah, 24th of October is the Sandy Super Showdown. And then 13th of November, I'm going to fight at a Zurich Fight Night here in Denmark. So it's going to be nice. And I already have my opponent signed for it also. So it's going to be a good fight also. So I'm really looking forward to going to the ring again and get into the game of fighting again, because that's my life, it's like this fire inside of the body that just every single day. So I'm so thrilled about going back and fighting again, and I just want to fight, bring me more.
Well, you got to feed the beast, right? We call it feeding the beast. You got to feed the beast, and you haven't had anything to eat in a while, so it's kind of like it's time to go to work.
It's just been like training every day in my living room has been chewing on a bone. Like, where's the meat?
Yeah.
It's just like a bone. So it's going to be nice to come back and to feel the atmosphere, meeting the fighters, smell the oil, all the things that are going down on the shows, and when it's the sting and you go fighting, it's like, wow. I fall in love every time I go in the ring. I fall in love with the sport.
So just looking at this is like you haven't fought in a long time, but now you got 2 fights like pretty much back to back within like 3 weeks of each other. Are you trying to make up for lost time here?
Yes. I think, no, I don't know. Maybe I am a little bit, but I'm really, really hungry, and I used to say to people and my friends and my family, like the most exciting time of life is the 15 minutes I'm in the ring.
Yeah.
You know, and when I'm in there, I want more. So it's really like an addiction where I haven't been given my drugs for a long time. Now
so you're what we call here jonesing. You're jonesing for the fight right now. you're strung out and ready to go at this point.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And I have a period where I have to do very hard work with my coach. I got a coach who really knows how to take me to a higher level. He works on a very specific system, and I think it's a very intelligent system that he's using for training, and I really enjoy the way he works with me. And I think we're going to show another side of me that has never been there before. I'm going to make a different kind of fight, and you will see that I have developed my skills when I go in the ring a lot. So I'm really looking forward to the whole process together with Peter for this upcoming fight. I think we're a really good team together, so it's going to be great working with him.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, like, you know, it just sounds like things are coming together and they're starting to come back together. And like I said, Iron Shin's a great move for you, I think. Jason Castile, I've interviewed a lot of his fighters. It's just been a pleasure, having the opportunity to work with them as well and some of their, fighters over there. And now you're in that stable, so that's great. I think he's going to do a great job working with you, get you some great opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
I just need now to go back and show, I need to get in the ring again, because it's a feeling of it's been too long time and I missed it a lot. And I want to go back, show the level I have now when I compare to what I had before COVID. I have developed so much in this 1.5 years. So I'm very excited to go and show how far I got also, to get more fights and get going. So in all ways, I look forward to go to this fight to show where I am now.
Are you still kicking the tires in your parking lot? Or in your,
I actually moved them. I moved them to the gym now. So
okay. I remember us talking about that last time. We were talking about you kicking because I was watching. I'm like, wow, that looks like it hurts.
People around the city, I was known like, oh, the fighter, the girl. No, I don't know her. Oh, the girl who is kicking on the tires in the city. Oh, that girl. Yes, I know that girl.
That crazy one over there.
The crazy girl standing and kicking and punching and making noises and everything.
Well, hey, any talk about coming to the U.S. to do any fights?
Not yet. I think it's been. I think it's still been difficult to get European people to go to US.
Yeah, really, I can't figure that out for the life of me. By the way, I can't figure that whole thinking out for the life of me. I know fighters that have fought in UFC and in other promotions that come from Europe, but you know what they do? They fly to another country first. They fly to Canada or Mexico and then fly here.
All right. Yeah.
It's like,
okay. They find a way. They find a way how to make it work. Yeah.
But that should tell you how silly this whole thing is, because if you're flying you're still coming from the same country. You still have let's say a Denmark passport. You're flying in from Mexico. Why the hell is that any different?
Some of the things don't make sense.
None of it makes sense.
Really don't make any sense. Like you just have to why? And then you have to say, I don't even have to think about it because it makes no sense.
No. Well, just to let you know, I'm putting together another podcast, which is going to make a whole lot of people probably very upset, but it's basically poking holes in all the BS. I just want to point out inconsistencies. That's all. That's the whole thing about that podcast, but that'll be be announced really soon as well. It's just me talking with a couple of friends about all the inconsistencies in the stories that we keep hearing and why isn't major media jumping on any of this. They're just staying away from it. So it's interesting. It's really interesting to see. May you live in interesting times, and we absolutely do. Right? So,
yeah, absolutely. We're absolutely living interesting time. At many things that's going on around the world. And for example, Thailand, I think Thailand is it's very weird about Thailand now. You know, they made this sandbox model working on Phuket because they want to get all the European people come to do training. They want to get money in the country. Then they make the sandbox model, which is everybody was like thrilled about the model. But the point is that you need to prove you have a lot of money. You need to prove that you can pay if you're going to do some quarantine anyway. And you need to pay a lot of money doing the PCR test. So at the bottom line, it is all about getting money in the country again. And all other places in Thailand, everything is going crazy. Bangkok is going crazy. People are fighting the government. The government don't help the people. They don't have work. They don't have food. All the Muay Thai, it's going to end up, Muay Thai is going to go out of Thailand. China wants to take it all over. And one day, Muay Thai is not going to happen in Thailand anymore. And I think that is really, really horrifying. And it's horrifying how they treat the people in Thailand at this point. They have to pay for the vaccine. They have to pay for PCR tests. The government keep closing down for everything. They have curfew. They cannot go outside. They get arrested. They have to pay fines. And they don't have work. So people start starving. And now mafia start to make a lot of trouble for people. They are scared going outside because people start robbing each other, killing each other because of money and because of food. Government do not help the people. So all the things you see about, oh, everything goes fine in Thailand, blah, 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 the numbers are low, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. People do not get tested because they have to pay money. How can they pay 500 baht because they don't even make 20 baht a day? How can they pay for the PCR test? I really think that some countries are deceiving the world with all this shit. Sorry.
Oh, hey, you know what? I'm all about it. I get it. And I think you're absolutely right. I think this was a real thing that happened. I think it was something that nobody knew what to expect. So everybody panicked, right? Yes. The whole world kind of panicked. And I'm talking about the first 4 months of this whole thing. The first 4 months, everybody panicked. Nobody knew what to do. The numbers went up because we were putting people on medications and doing things to them that weren't going to help. And honestly, I think we were killing people with ventilators. That's my honest opinion. I think the vents were killing people because you're forcing air into lungs that can't expand because they're COVID lung. And you're basically killing people. My opinion, I'm not a doctor. I will put that out there. That's my disclaimer. But I do think that there's a lot of comparability in that. And then there's a whole lot of things that were going on to jump those numbers up. And then they test more people and then the numbers go up. Well, of course, because you're testing more people. How about death rates? That's what I keep looking at now is like, and what I want to know from people is where are the death rates now as compared to how many cases we have? Because cases to me don't matter. Cases, I mean, you had it. I know a ton of people who had it. I know people that had it didn't even know they had it. Never even got sick or nothing. And, and a small percentage of people get a very severe effect from it. But you can't shut down the world forever. So the problem comes in now that they panicked everybody in the first 4 months. Then you have politics get involved. Then it's an election year here in the United States. Then, the US, once we start throwing propaganda out like crazy, the whole world jumps on it. And now everybody's like using it. They're using COVID right now as a tool to get what they want. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And now we can't seem to find our way out of it because you got people so scared and terrified and panicked. Then you got the other side who think it didn't even exist to begin with. So you got two separate sides here.
It's so divided, like it's like black and white.
Somewhere in the middle is the answer. I don't know what the answer is. But, I do know we way over exaggerated our response on this at this point. At this point, we don't need to be where we are. And,
No.
unfortunately, because of politics, we are going to be there for a little bit longer, I think, until people wake up, until we call the grand wake up happens across the world.
Yes, the grand wake up. Yes. I think politics and money is controlling a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But like I said, I think, I'm starting to see changes. I'm starting to see people just, even today I was at this flea market up the road from me and I was walking around, and just a few weeks ago, I was walking around the flea market and everybody was wearing a mask, just about everybody. And it's been back and forth a few times. And now today I went and I saw maybe 3 people the whole time I was there wearing a mask. So for better or worse, I don't know, but I think people are kind of tired of it at this point. And they're like, you know what? Let's get back to normal. Heck with this new normal crap that you keep selling us. Let's get to the old normal.
Yes. Let's just get back to living our lives like we used to do, because if it has come and it's not going to go away, we're going to have to find a way to live with it the same way we learned how to live with the normal flu. Like the rates of people dying from a normal flu is also pretty high before we had the COVID. So what's the news about this? Maybe the after effects are more severe, and maybe the death is more painful. I don't know. And I'm not a doctor too, but still, I think it's good that you just make some considerations about this, that you don't have to eat everything raw. You can you can put up questions like, what about the common sense? And
well, it's hard to put up questions these days because they have these people called fact checkers out there that are basically just propaganda spreaders, basically, and shutting down anything that doesn't go with what they want. So, it's a weird time, but you know what? We're coming out of it. The good news is you're starting to get some fights in the tank here. You're starting to come back. You're signed with Iron Shin. You got some promotions going on. You got some things happening. I'm super excited for you. I want you to make sure you send me the links to where I might be able to watch these fights, because I'd love to watch them and check you out, because I think we're going to see an Eva Shultz 2.0 coming out now and crushing it and killing it. And I'd love to see if you ever get to the U.S.
I'm excited about this. I'm so much stronger. I've gone in a total different level also mentally, and I will be a different fighter when I go in the ring, and I can't wait to prove it. So it's going to be so great. And I just want to thank you a lot for Brian Calder, who promoted me this fight. And I want to say thank you to Einstein Las Vegas, Jason Castell. I want to say thank you to Gary Brown for Company News, to my trainer, Peter, and the Chiang Noi Thai boxing gym in Copenhagen.
Well, and I just want to thank you for coming on and, adding some spice to the show and basically, coming in and talking, so freely about everything. And, I wish you the best, and we will talk again. We'll definitely get you back on. If you ever come to the U.S., let me know. Maybe we'll link up somewhere along the line here and say hello, and maybe I could do some training with you.
I really hope so. I will do everything I can to push on for going to the United States and also to have a fight there and meet up with all the awesome people that I got to know there. So I definitely hope I'm going to meet you again. Yeah,
well, I think you'll
taking me in the show, Steve. I really, really enjoyed it as always.
No worries. And like I said, I think it's your natural path. I think eventually you will make it over here, because it is kind of like the natural path of the fight game. Eventually, everybody gets over here for at least a few fights, so
amazing. Then my dreams will get fulfilled, but definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Eva. Is there anything else you want to, where can people find you?
Well, people can find me on Instagram on Eva Shultz Muay Thai. They can find me on Facebook, also Shultz Muay Thai, and they can find me on the Chiang Noi Thai boxing gym, Facebook, Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. And anytime you have a question or anything, you're free to just contact me, send me a message, and I will answer you as soon as possible. I can do that. All right.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Once again, ever so nice having you on, and you're so humble and such a cool person. I love talking to you, and we will talk again soon, Eva. Thank you again for coming on. Be good and stay a badass.
I will do that. I will kick some ass too.
All right. Be good.